So if you've just started the game, you've just picked up Enlisted, it's free to play, and you're like, wow, you know what? I can't wait to start playing this game. I love it. It's just it looks so amazing. And you get into the game and you're like, wow, hold on. But like, how do I spawn, dude? So if there's plenty of games share this concept. Hell Let Loose is actually pretty similar. They have the just the points that you spawn on, and then they have outposts, but which are player spawns. So in other words, it's something that an engineer can put down. You're not going to have an engineer right away, I don't believe. So something you're going to have to grind for. Once you do unlock the engineer and you start building things, it's fantastic. You can throw barbed wire wherever you want. You can throw sandbags wherever you want. It's really great. You can do it on top of the objective right next to it. Apart from the rally point, of course, which is only, I think, 15 meters away, roughly. That's not always exact, but that's my rule of thumb is 50 meters, and usually that tends to work out for me. Now, any member of your team could just throw a rally point anywhere, but that's not the important part. Okay, you need to find a good place to put it where it's easily defendable, easily just more hidden. Okay, so it doesn't get found and destroyed instantly. You need to make sure it's in a pretty good spot, because if it's not, you need to make sure that your teammates will spawn on it. Okay, it can't be out in the middle of nowhere. It has to be somewhere close to the objective, because every time your teammates spawn on it, every time another squad spawns on it, you get 35 points, which is a great way of farming points to get up higher on the leaderboard. Especially if you're having squad after squad spawn on your rally point. Well, you'll get to the leaderboard in no time, because, I mean, it's only what, like 50 points for a kill or something, or like 40. Yeah, so I mean, if you just do that, you get a really good spot. That's all you need. It's best to be prone or crouched whenever you're building your rally point, or really building anywhere in particular, unless you're in shelter already or you feel safe, because you shouldn't be standing up when you're doing it. Okay, you should be at least trying to, you want to finish building what you want to build instead of getting shot, right? So maybe keep that in mind. However, I'm not going to tell you what to do. This is just a suggestion. I've recorded some helpful gameplay to help you along. Give you some examples, some pointers, as it were. Because if you do this successfully, you don't even really have to like shoot anyone. Honestly, I'm not even joking. Like, there's been times where I've gotten to nearly the top of the leaderboard just by passively farming points. And if you get your barbed wire and sandbags in a good position too. For example, I'll layer barbed wire around a point to make it harder for the enemies to get in. Of course, this might be a little bit detrimental to your own team, but they'll find their own way around it. They always do. Your main objective is to get the enemy not to swarm the point and make sure they hold it. Okay, so the typical player is not going to be worried about their squad. They're just going to rush in, and they're going to try and hold that point. They're not going to worry about their teammates on the squad. Okay, their teammates are just going to run into the barbed wire, and that's all that's going to happen. So you can easily farm that. I think it's 6 points per assist. I can't remember, but you can rack those up really quickly, because if you get like 10 enemies at a time that run into your barbed wire, that's what, 60 points right there. Okay, so it's easily done. It's a matter of doing it in the right areas at the right time. If you've already lost the point, then there's no point in building there. You know what I mean? Because you're gonna have to fall back. You're gonna have to rebuild your rally point. You're going to have to move back, right? You can't stay at the same spot forever. You're going to have to reposition and move accordingly. Now, I'm not positive on this, but I think as you rank up in the engineer class, you unlock more things that you can build, like turrets and guns. But I mean, for the purpose of this tutorial, you should really just be focusing on sandbags, maybe a couple Czech hedgehogs, barbed wire, and of course the rally point. I mean, if you ask me, the rally point is the most important thing in the game almost, because if you don't have the rally point, then you just have the default points. And any player that actually plays the game, they will know the points. Okay, they will know the points. They will camp them, and you won't get anywhere at all. So you have to avoid spawning on the points unless there's no other rally points available. Spawning on the spawn points like mid game or late game is kind of a death trap, because there's always going to be someone there that's trying to push it or farm kills there. So you definitely don't want to sit in one spot for too long. That being said, though, you should definitely be a little creative with it. So don't just do what everybody else is doing. Okay, observe your surroundings, see what your teammates are doing, see what they're doing right, see what they're doing wrong. You think about it, maybe say, hey, you know what? This is actually not a bad idea. You know, they place this in a pretty good spot, but there's actually these few things wrong with it. They're open here. They're taking fire from here, etc., etc. You know, they're visible. So you need to take absolutely everything into account when you're doing this. And of course, there's also a vantage point. So if you're like me and you enjoy sniping a little bit, you might want to place your rally point in an area that has a higher vantage point. You might want to put it in an area that has a better advantage, you know, because if you have the high ground, then you have the advantage, right? But of course, that might make you a little bit more visible unless you stick it back in the like a few meters behind you somewhere. It's like I said, no one, like, it's not really a cut and dry thing. Everything's always a variable depending on the map. There's a few different set maps, so you'll learn the maps easily enough. They're not really they're hugely different from each other. You'll be able to learn them, and once you don't even really need to learn them, to be honest. I mean, you might need to know the terrain, but that's about it. All you really have to do is just go near the point, watch the point, try to capture the point, trying to prevent the enemy from capturing the point. And I mean, that's Enlisted, man. Level up your squads, do more research, maybe even invest into some premium if that's the route you want to go. Personally, I don't know about that. I mean, I feel like Enlisted has kind of been dying for the last couple months, like the last couple. But I don't know. Maybe it just never took off in the first place. I don't know. Because I haven't looked into it that much. But nonetheless, it doesn't affect me on a personal scale, because every game I load into, there's always more than enough players to continue the match. There's never been a problem that way. Of course, people do leave whenever they get upset, or they find out they're losing, but that's just any game in general. You can just say that, period. That's nothing new. Okay, even for Enlisted, it might be a little bit different because it's a free-to-play game, but there's not really anything you and I can do about that except for, maybe play another game. But if you're going to do that, then you weren't going to play this game in the first place. You know what I mean? So it's free-to-play. It knows what it is, and you just have to keep that in mind. That being said, it's a fun game. It is something to do. It's not horrible. It does get a little repetitive, I will say that. However, compared to some other games, it is pretty fun, okay? Well, you could say that about any game. You could say that playing it for hours on end gets boring, gets repetitive. So that's probably just video gaming in general. I guess what I'm really just trying to hammer in here, no pun intended, just have some common sense whenever you're trying to do something. Be like, hey, you know what? Is this in a good spot for my team? Am I being supportive enough for my team by doing this, etc., etc.? And you might win, you might lose. You know what I mean? It's not always up to you. It's whether or not the other team is better than you, whether your team doesn't even want to try at all. Okay, there's a lot of factors that goes into whether or not you win or lose. At the end of the day, it's just important that you have fun and enjoy yourself.